Chapter 11, How to Take Care of a Wife. From the passenger seat, Firacha glanced at her beautiful wife behind the wheel and smiled. It was probably the first time in 2 months that Ranchan Lopez felt at peace while looking at her wife's face. She guessed her wife felt the same. Firacha was softly singing along to a song, moving her head to the beat. Sometimes she even smiled without noticing when one of her favorite songs played. A lovely voice, a beautiful face, a sweet smile. That was the perfect way to describe the youngest daughter of the Fatcheraticorn family right now. Last night, the two of them talked about many things. Some topics were easy, some were difficult. Sometimes they agreed, sometimes they didn't. From what Ranchan Lopez noticed, her pretty young wife gave in to her many times. But there was one topic she refused to compromise on, her conflict with certain older family members. The well-mannered young lady promised she would fix her own inappropriate behavior if Ranchan Lopez would simply point it out. But when it came to that cruel old woman with a dark heart, she said she could not back down. Before ending that serious conversation, Firacha gave her homework. Think of a proper way to solve the problem between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. That became a heavy worry for the lawyer. The night that passed was full of both conversation and intimacy. They started on the living room sofa and ended up in the bedroom. When the pretty young wife was in a romantic mood, she was incredibly charming, soft, loving, and very attentive. The stress inside Ranchan Lopez faded instantly, making her forget all her problems for a moment. The pleasure they shared made both their minds go blank. And because it was an act of love after agreeing to support their relationship again, their feelings were stronger than usual. "Do you want to say something?" "You've been staring at me for a while," Firacha asked. She couldn't see her wife's eyes directly, but she could feel her gaze the whole ride. "Do you want to have coffee together before work? That's all you wanted to say after staring at me for that long?" The younger woman laughed softly, not sure if that was the real reason or if her wife was hiding something. "I was looking because you're beautiful, and I thought I want to drink coffee with someone beautiful. Look at you, talking like that." The pretty wife teased, giving her a quick side-eye before watching the road again. "Okay." Accepting the invitation half an hour earlier led to this moment, Firacha sitting with her chin on her hand, watching her wife place a hot cup of coffee in front of her. She thanked her and smiled sweetly. The woman taking care of her smiled back, her heart full of happiness. "What should we eat tonight?" the older woman asked. They had agreed to have dinner together after work, but they hadn't chosen a restaurant yet. Since they had a little time before going their separate ways, Ranchan Lopez wanted to ask so she could plan their evening. "What do you want to eat, Fee Ranchan? I'll ask Kun Nat too." She was about to say she would ask her secretary to reserve a table for them, as long as her wife chose what she wanted to eat. But she suddenly stopped, as if remembering she needed to change something about herself. "Fee Ranchan, choose anything you want, any restaurant. Pick whatever you like." "I'll choose something I want too, and then we can decide together." The older woman looked at her wife and gave her a soft smile before replying with a short, "Okay. If you want to book the table yourself, go ahead," Firacha added. Usually, if it wasn't her secretary, she was the one handling these things. Her wife had always just gone along with whatever was decided, never disagreeing, never demanding. She'd gotten used to that. So now, when she wanted to encourage Ranchan Lopez to take more initiative, she knew it might be challenging to break old habits. Still, the determined young heiress was willing to try. "You don't need to do all this, Nong Neen," Ranchan Lopez said gently. "I'll change what I need to change and you can do the same," Firacha replied. The lawyer went quiet for a moment, then nodded slowly. "How about this? I'll pick the restaurant you can help me choose and then I'll handle the rest. Is that okay?" "MHM," Firacha hummed in agreement. Their conversation about dinner was almost finished when she asked another question out of curiosity. "Can I ask something?" "Of course, what is it?" "Why do you want to do everything yourself? Is it really that important to you?" Her wife didn't answer right away. Seeing that, Firacha shook her head gently. "It's fine. I just wanted to know. You don't have to answer. I only wanted to understand what you're thinking." She lifted her cup and took a sip, planning to drop the subject. But only a moment later, her wife spoke. "It's nothing complicated. Anything that makes you happy, I want to do it. Maybe I'm just trying to fill the empty spots in my heart. At the very least, I want to feel like I can take care of my wife. There are things I can't handle, but at least I can do this." Guilt touched Firacha's heart. When she saw Ranchan Lopez's small, awkward smile, she felt even worse. She had never known her beautiful wife thought this deeply about things. To her, it had never seemed like a big deal. "Thank you for telling me. You did great." The younger woman gently rubbed her wife's head while thanking and praising her. Her smile was warm and full of understanding. She loved Ranchen Lopez, but she had overlooked many things, and since her wife rarely spoke her feelings, she had never realized it before. The morning was going smoothly. But right before they separated for work, the mood changed. As they walked out of the cafe, one of their problems walked in. "Good morning, boss." He used to speak respectfully when talking to the person he called boss. Their relationship wasn't always this bad, but ever since their fight at the Isan restaurant, he had stopped holding back. Every time they met, he took any chance he could to mock or provoke Ranchen Lopez. His embarrassment from being caught doing something inappropriate had turned into anger. "Good morning, Kun. "Good morning," Firacha said politely, bowing her head a little. Her beautiful face stayed calm and blank without the friendly smile she used to give him. "That's it, nothing more," he said. "I thought you were going to threaten me again." His tone showed he almost wanted a fight. Even though she didn't want trouble in the cafe, some people seemed to enjoy being scolded. The young heiress smirked, pretending not to care. But in her heart, she wanted to pull the law firm executive aside and settle the issue for good. She usually didn't want trouble with anyone, but her beautiful wife's subordinate acted bold and disrespectful. He wasn't afraid of authority at all. He kept teasing them and saying rude things every time they met. She didn't know who gave him the confidence to act like no one could touch him. "Don't make things worse, At." The young heiress of the Fatcheraticorn family was starting to lose her patience. She was annoyed and fed up with him, even though she tried not to show it. Before she could do anything, her calm and beautiful wife spoke first. All right, I'm scared. I'll go now." He made a mocking face, lifted his hands like he was giving up, and then walked away with his bad attitude. Firacha let out an angry sigh. The older woman looked at her frustrated wife and sighed too. "If it gets too hard, I'll just resign." The granddaughter of the firm's executives quickly turned to her wife, shocked. She didn't agree with that idea at all. Why should her beautiful wife be the one to step down? This big, famous law firm was the perfect place for someone as skilled as Ranchen Lopez. "If resigning makes you feel better, then do what you think is right, Fee Ranchen." The lawyer's eyes went wide. She never expected her young wife to say something like that. Normally, this strong-willed heiress would never support running away from a problem. When Firacha saw her wife's confused expression, she understood. It was strange for her to encourage something like that, but honestly, she didn't agree with her wife's idea either. Why should she let someone like At feel proud and act like he won? With the power and influence she had, making At's career crumble wouldn't be difficult at all. But if she only followed her own wishes, she would hurt her wife again. Maybe her beautiful wife needed space to make decisions herself, with Firacha supporting her, not controlling her or pushing her own opinions. It was surprising that in such a short time, Firacha could already see the real cause of their past conflict. But the hardest part wasn't finding the cause. The hardest part was fixing it. Right now, the youngest heiress was trying very hard to stop her habit of controlling everything. She was also trying not to override her wife's decisions. She admitted it was the hardest thing she had ever done, but she was willing, because she believed it would help their relationship in the future, even though deep down, she still wanted to go tell her uncle to punish that arrogant man properly. "Your face looks like you really want to teach someone a lesson," her peaceful and beautiful wife said with a small smile. The younger woman, who was unable to hide her irritation, nodded slightly inside. Her expression showed everything. There was no point pretending. "Yes, who does he think he is? Why is he so arrogant and trying to irritate me like that? I just want to work peacefully, you know." "My love, that man doesn't want peace," felt like a loud thought echoed in her head. Her beautiful wife, her beloved, was not getting what she wanted at all. Every part of that rude man's behavior showed that being peaceful would never fix anything. But when Firacha looked into her gentle wife's calm eyes, it felt like she kept hearing a quiet voice telling her to stay patient. "Okay then. I'll let you handle it however you want, just deal with it. If you do it well, if you make me happy, you'll get a reward." "Oh, you're using rewards now, Nangnin?" Ranchen Lopez laughed softly. "I finally know how to take care of my wife. If I try to control everything again, things will go bad." Her pretty lips formed a small pout as she muttered. The sight was so cute that her wife had to look down to hide her smile. "Let me walk you to the car." Younger woman nodded and held her wife's arm tightly with both hands. They walked together, side by side, arms linked. Both smiled sweetly at each other. People passing by couldn't help staring. They looked so beautiful and perfect together, like a pair meant to be. Thank you for being patient with me, Ranchen Lopez said sincerely before her lovely wife got into the car. If not for her younger wife's effort and patience, they never would have reached this point, calm, close, talking normally again. You also have to be patient with me, Fee Ranchen. Calm down a little, okay? Ranchen Lopez gently stroked her wife's head and spoke softly. Firacha closed her eyes, enjoying the touch. She was almost ready to follow her wife's advice, until a memory suddenly flashed in her mind, her beautiful wife being passionate and demanding in bed. Her eyes flew wide open. She stared so hard that her wife raised an eyebrow in confusion. A moment ago, she looked like a cute little kitten. Now she looked like a cat ready to hiss. When we're in bed, you're the one who can't stay calm. Don't think I didn't notice. She pouted and lifted her chin. Ranchen Lopez blinked quickly, her face growing hot. She couldn't deny it. When they made love, the talented lawyer was like fire, no slow start, no gentle pace. And Firacha knew exactly when her wife was the most impatient. I'm calm all the time except in bed. And I'm calm all the time except when I'm yelling at your mother. She lifted her chin again, stubborn and adorable, making her wife want to bite her out of affection. You weren't cute when you did that. She wasn't truly scolding, her voice was teasing. She knew her wife meant what she said. It wasn't surprising. Anyone watching her shout at elders without caring about age or status would think she wasn't cute, even she thought so herself. But no one can be cute all the time, and she chose not to be cute to someone who hurt her. And Firacha didn't think she was wrong. Some people, especially the old woman's daughter, might not like it, but she had no intention of changing how she responded to Kinkaman. What? Is your mother suddenly adorable now? Neither of them are cute, she answered truthfully. All right, I'm not talking anymore. See you this evening, Firacha said abruptly, cutting the conversation short before it could turn into another argument. They had managed to keep things smooth for hours, no point in ruining that over an old, stubborn woman. Firacha refused to let someone with a bad attitude control her life again. That old woman, who seemed happy to see them fight, was probably pleased to be the cause of their problems. So the best way to hurt Kinkaman was simple: make her beloved daughter fall in love with her even more. From now on, the rich young lady would play smart. She would win back the wife she loved so much and take satisfaction in watching her mother-in-law lose. Okay, I'll send you the restaurant choices so we can pick together. Ranchen Lopez said this before they went their separate ways. Her wife smiled, nodded, and got into the car. After closing the door, the luxury car headed off toward her workplace. The lawyer watched the car disappear before adjusting her bag and walking toward the tall office building. As she walked, their last conversation replayed in her mind and reminded her memories of the past. Whenever I send you restaurant choices, you never reply. The complaint came the moment Firacha stopped in front of her after work. Firacha had been waiting only a short while before she saw her wife approaching. It was almost 7 p.m., and she had clearly had a tough day, but Ranchen Lopez still looked elegant and well put together, just like in the morning. I can eat anything. Wherever you want to go, we'll go. Answer was always the same. She let her wife choose every time. Don't complain if the food doesn't suit your taste, Firacha teased. The older woman shrugged. She was easy to feed. She never had a problem with any place. The picky one was the young woman looking at her right now. I won't complain. So which restaurant are we going to? Follow me, beautiful. Firacha winked and headed toward the nearby SkyTrain station. Ranchen Lopez walked beside her, leaving a little space between their shoulders. Still beautiful? The soft question made the younger woman turn her head. She smiled and wrinkled her nose playfully. How could someone as stunning as Ranchen Lopez even ask that? If she hadn't been beautiful enough to capture her heart, their story would have ended the day she returned that white shirt. They wouldn't have met again, and again so many times. Every time I see you after work, you're still beautiful, Fee Ranchen. She said it with a sincere, sweet smile. The woman being praised blushed shyly. The atmosphere between them was filled with happiness. Just walking together for a short distance made both of them smile nonstop. Ever since they had known each other, Ranchen Lopez had already figured out that the young woman, now sitting with her hands resting under her chin, smiling softly while watching the pianist, came from a wealthy background. She didn't judge her by material things, but it was hard not to notice. The expensive clothes, the new designer bags every time they met. The bright, stylish high heels, sometimes white, sometimes black, and the jewelry, necklaces, bracelets, rings, earrings, watches, every piece was costly. Not to mention the luxury car she drove and her high-end apartment in a famous district. But even with all that wealth, She never expected that the beautiful woman she fell in love with would personally know the owner of this high-end restaurant. When the staff greeted her differently from other customers, she couldn't help but wonder who exactly she had been dating all this time. "Do you not like this restaurant?" Firacha noticed her wife looking serious ever since they arrived. On the crowded SkyTrain, she looked happier. She wondered what was wrong. Maybe this kind of restaurant wasn't her lawyer lover's style. "No, it's not that." "Then why are you making that face?" Firacha's voice was naturally sweet, but sometimes it carried a playful tone that made her wife flustered, like just now. "I'm just wondering who I'm actually dating." As soon as she said that, the younger woman burst into laughter. "I don't know, maybe it's the woman you kissed the very first time you met her." Her voice and her eyes were both sweet enough to melt sugar. Ranchin Lopez felt like someone had hit her over the head, completely smitten. At the same time, her face heated up, remembering exactly what the first time referred to. That night, the moment completely swept them away. They had been sitting together in a parked car near the true condominium area. The mood was right, the moment felt perfect, and they slowly leaned toward each other until their lips pressed together, kissing, nibbling, gently pulling at each other's lips. And before getting out of the car that night, the pretty young woman said something that made it clear who had truly fallen deep first. "Didn't I say that next time we meet, I would send you home? I never said the next time we meet, I'd kiss you too." Remembering it now made her smile to herself. Back then, Firacha had always been good at charming people, and throughout the entire time they dated and even after they married, she never stopped being just as enchanting as she was from the very beginning.